want y'all to understand, when God says it's good, it's good. How many times have you all doubted that God was speaking to you? You looked and God said, I want you to apply for that job that requires a PhD, and you said, I barely got a GED, and God said, apply for it anyway. And you said, no, I don't even meet the criteria. I don't meet the criteria. I don't meet the criteria. If God says you meet it, you meet it. You need to move forward. We doubt because we look and we start using our own minds, and we start looking and saying, you know what, that's too far out of my range, too far out of my reach. There's no way I can attain that, when God has already told you you can attain it. I know without a doubt when Sister Wesley saw me, she said, there's no way I can get that handsome man. But God told her, yes, you can. And she didn't stop until she got it. Anything's possible. Anything. Just thought I'd throw it in to make sure y'all pay attention. What I'm making is this. We can't look and think that things are outside of our range. And more than anything, we can't start listening to those doubters out there. Because those doubters, those are nothing but plant seeds, those seeds planted by Satan. Seeds planted by Satan. If God says you can and he says you will and he says it's good, guess what? I remember MC Hammer said it's all good. You know, if God says it's all good, then people follow MC Hammer and spend millions. But we don't want to listen to God when he said it's all good. It's all good. We have to move forward. We can't listen to those doubters. We can't talk ourselves out of that blessing. Don't wait until it's too late. Then all of a sudden they start doubting. Because they started looking and saying, you know what, they started using their minds and saying, you know what, we don't see how we can accomplish this goal. When God says it's good, it's good. When he says you can accomplish, you can accomplish. When he said it's done, it's done. When he says he's blessed, he's blessed. When he says move, you move. Stop listening to people out there when God has told you what to do and ready to bless you. So because they didn't move and because they wanted to do it, not when God said do it, but when they realized the error of their ways. When they realize that we've sinned, we've messed up, we'll do it now. You have to understand, when God says move, you move, or your blessing may be gone. Your blessing may be gone. These people allowed their blessing to pass them by. Many of you sitting here right now, God said, I have a blessing in order for you. Because I have this blessing, you need to move on it right now when I tell you to. But some of you are listening to people. Be careful who you're talking to out there. Be careful who you're listening to out there. Because some people, God will plant a blessing in your life, Milton, and they'll start whispering in your ear. And before long, they've convinced you that maybe it's not a blessing at all. Maybe it can't happen. God has said, I've already told you. Move forward. I've already told you, stop looking and trying to use all your imagination and you imagine yourself out of that blessing. Just move. Just move. Just move forward. Just move forward. None of us wants to get there, as we see in Deuteronomy 1:45, where God pays us no attention and turns a deaf ear to us. Nobody wants to be there. Listening to God means that we're going to have faith in God's directions and the people he places before you. We're going to have faith in his directions and the people he placed before you. And those Israelites listened to God's directions as given through Moses. Had they had faith in him, they would have been in the promised land a long time before. But instead, they never made it. 40 years. God said, because you're not going to listen, guess what? Your children, they're going to pay. Although they're going to obtain and go through this promised land. Wandering for 40 years till all of them died off. So if we wonder why did they wander in the desert for 40 years, the reason is because God tried to bless them and they did not accept that blessing when he says it's time to accept it. And because that, God allowed them to wander for 40 years until all of them of age died off. God has a man of God before you now. He places men and women of God before you every day. But instead of listening to those people, you listen to everybody else that talks you out of your blessing.